situation. You might have heard about the inner child. We all were children at some point, and then we grow up, right? But we still have the memories when we were children. And when we were children, if you had that fortune, you probably spent a lot of time with your family and some time with your father. A lot or little, it doesn't really matter, but you spend some time, right? Growing up, and you may not remember many things, but that doesn't matter. But you had a many years relation with this person, with your father, that it probably evolved into something different, right? The years change, you grow up, this and that. But the child that you were, your inner child that you have today, still have those experiences inside of you. So here's the deal. You may have some unresolved situations, unresolved experiences inside of your body, especially because as a child, you wanted to be loved a certain way. But your father probably didn't know how you wanted to be loved because you couldn't even know how you wanted to be loved. You couldn't even express it. So he had to guess how to love you in a way. And the child wants to be loved a very specific way. So there it caused a lot of friction already. Maybe you wanted your father to say, I love you. And he didn't say that. Or maybe you wanted your father to read a little book when you went to bed, and he didn't do it. He chose to watch TV, for example. Or maybe when you did your homework or when you went to school and you came back, you wanted your father to recognize the things that you did. Or when you played a sport, you wanted your father to do something for you. Like, just catch that there are many little cases in your life that you probably wanted something from your father that your father was not able to give you. He was not able to provide that. And we'll get this to the end, but I already tell you, one of the keys to healing the father wound is forgiveness. So just understand that you probably wanted your father to love you in a different way, to recognize you, to praise you, to do things for you in a different way. And he did it the way he could do it with the tools that he had. You know, here, you're probably not listening to this if you are 10 years old. You know, you probably, I don't know how old you are, but you have some life experience. And I want to invite you to already within this episode, already within this process, connect with your adult self, with the part of you, with your own father, you becoming your own father, and connecting with this energy to take the blame away from your father. Like, my life sucks because my father did this to me. And that narrative, that victim mentality, it's kind of a child way of behaving. And here we don't want to be children anymore. Here we want to become adults. We want to take responsibility for our life and understand, okay, yes, my father maybe didn't treat me the way I want him to treat me. Maybe I wanted my father to do many other things to me or many different things, whatever, but it was what it was. The past cannot be changed. What you can do right now for sure is take responsibility and be like, okay, I didn't get that from him. I'm going to give it to myself. And I will tell you at the end of the episode a little bit, or like a bit of a technique on how to do this. So now we understand that when you were a child, you wanted some things from your father that he probably didn't give you, and you wanted to be loved in a specific way. So what happened? All those times that you wanted your father to love you a very specific way, and you didn't receive that love that way, or that attention, or that care, or whatever it was, you probably had an emotion in that very moment. Maybe anger, maybe frustration, maybe sadness, disappointment, name it however you want. But you probably felt something in your body. And especially throughout the years, if this thing sort of repeated itself. So the thing here is, I believe, or there is a little bit of a theory within psychology that I want to bring here, and I personally think it's true in a way, which is that if you heard of, I think his name, I don't know how to pronounce, but like Gabor Mate, I think he's like a psychologist experienced in or specialized in trauma. He has a book that I haven't read it, but I really want to read it. But I really resonate with his way. I've heard some podcasts on him, and he says that he has a book named "The Body Keeps the Score." So go back into those moments, even if you don't remember. Imagine, you being a child, you being a little kid. You wanted to, I don't know, go play something, and your father didn't go play with you, and then you felt disappointment. That's one way you wanted your father to love you. That please come with me to play basketball, to play football, or take me to the beach, or take me to the mountain, something. And your father was like, "Yeah, it's Sunday. I'm fucking tired. I'm not gonna do that." And then you felt disappointed, and you felt resentment or whatever. And imagine feeling that in different cases of your life many, many times, and how that was stored in your body. That, in a way, trauma, that, in a way, like negative experiences that at that age, you probably didn't know how to handle those emotions, how to feel those emotions. You were a little kid and you are developing yourself. Of course, you don't have all the tools that you probably have today. So that kept in there. And your relation with your father probably got a little bit broken, a little bit like tear. It's not like it broke it at all the whole thing, but little by little, there were like these marks, these scars in your skin of like these moments of disappointment with your father, these moments of disconnection. And those created like a bigger thing probably in your body. And if you haven't done inner work with your father, you probably still have that inside. And that is the unfortunate truth. I believe there is one sign for sure, or maybe not for sure, but I believe kind of for sure. There is one sign where you can recognize if you still have a very active father wound, which is if you, when you talk with your father, if he's still alive, hopefully, or if not, it's okay as well. You can also work with your wound with your father, even if he's dead. That doesn't matter in a way, I believe. So if your relation with your father really triggers you, like really, really triggers you, like it's hard for you to even have a normal conversation with your father because whatever he says, it really moves things inside of you. I believe that this is not new. This probably comes from way, way, way back. Probably you don't even remember from where it comes from. And the emotions that you felt when you were a little kid, they're still present in you when you're 30, when you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 60, even until you die, if you don't sit down and feel those emotions. And I will tell you a little bit on how to do that, like short line. If you believe that you get really, really tense still with your father today, or when you think about him, or when you think about your childhood and all the things he didn't give you and all of that, if you still feel that that is having a lot of energy in you, then there's something to feel there. I believe there's something to solve there, and it will help you a lot to do that. And of course, you can do that in your own way. You choose how to do it. You are old enough now. I personally did it with coaching, someone else coaching me throughout many, many sessions, of course. Probably the psychologists, people are going to be like, how fuck the coaches? It's like they don't know how to do anything. That's okay. Anyone can think whatever they want. Probably a psychologist can also help you. Some of them are good, some of them are not. Some coaches are good, some are not, whatever. But I think that getting external help, it's one of the ways of starting to work with your wound. And if you don't have the money to do that, you can also do it by yourself. And I tell you a bit on how I did it at the end of the episode. And yeah, maybe it can inspire you. And also, if you don't have anyone, maybe you and you want to do it with me, or you want to try it with me or something like that, maybe I'm open. We can have a conversation to see where you at, what do you want to work on, and yeah, and I'm happy to see. I'm happy to see if we are fit for each other and work together. That's another possibility. But anyways, okay, it's that time. I think that I tell you about my personal story with my father and how I worked through my father wound.